Alrighty then. Should we start this calamity that we call a podcast?
Yep, why not? It's been a while.
It's been a while. Hope you're ready. It's warmed up.
Always, mate. Always.
Welcome to GCP Live, episode number 71 for Friday, the 16th of August, 2024. GCP Live is sponsored by Mantle Group. At Mantle Group, we make your Google Cloud solutions possible. And I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, Google Cloud Spanner just got a new feature bump. Google is in hot water yet again. The Google graveyard strikes yet again. Plus, is the AI bubble set to burst? We take a look at that in the AI wars. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce the co-host and previous co-host of the show, fresh from a GDG talk in Sydney, Ian Brown. Well. How you going, Mr. Brown?
Oh, I'm good, mate. How you doing?
mate, I'm fantastic. This is just like old times. This feels great.
It is.
Our regular co-host, The Dish, is off sick today. He messaged me earlier today and said, look, I can't talk, I can't read, I've got double vision, my eyes are blurry. I'm not recording a show today. And of course, we're dead fast on our schedule. Nothing interrupts your schedule, so we've got to record and it's got to come out on Friday. So, I did the mad call around internal, all the regulars, Lizzie, Dee, they were all busy. So, Mr. Brown said, yep, in a heartbeat.
Why not?
In a heartbeat.
Like, you didn't even finish the sentence and I said, yep. I love it. Great to be back.
It's good to have you back. Good. And I knew it was easy with you because you got the mic, you got everything, you got all the gear, you know the process, it's all good to go. It's just straight into it. I don't have to run through any of that with you.
Yeah.
So what's been happening in the world of Ian Brown since you were last on the show? I can't remember what episode it was now. I didn't look that up.
50-something?
50-something, yeah.
Yeah. It was a little while ago. A lot. So I work at Temple & Webster now, obviously. Don't work at Mantle Group anymore. I'm a site reliability engineer there. And, we're doing a massive GCP migration, which Mantle Group is helping out on, and I started that project actually before I left. So just loving life in GCP and get my teeth into an actual environment that I can own. Yeah,
it sounds like a great project. And we were just talking before on air, Temple & Webster's are going gangbusters at the moment, aren't they?
They are indeed. They are just going from strength to strength, and I think with the change to GCP from VMs, it's just going to get better because we can do a whole lot more innovation in the platform, and we can really sort of start scaling out the platform in Kubernetes.
Yeah, right. So it's a migration from on-prem VMware. Am I right with that? Into Kubernetes?
It's an app mod project. So it's on-prem VMware, VMs of varying size in a managed service provider into GCP in a mix of GCE instances and managed services and GKE containers. Right. So, okay. Well, VMware just keeps coming up. We'll talk a little bit about VMware a bit later in the show, but that sounds like a fantastic project, and I can imagine. I mean, your skill set's perfectly matched to it. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it, and there's some old processes in the company that we're obviously getting rid of a lot of them, but some of them have to stay for the time being. But that's just part and parcel of evolution. Yep.
It must be nice. It must be nice.
It is. It's really good. But apart from that, mate, the tech adventures are thick and fast in my house at the moment.
Yeah, you've got a few boxes on the bed there behind you. Why don't you fill me in with what's going on with all that?
So we moved over to fibre to the premise probably a month ago.
That must be nice. That must be nice too.
Yeah, gigabit internet is terrible. You'd hate it. But in the process of doing that, we had Google Nest Wi-Fi in the house, and I went, rightio, the Google reckons I can connect this directly up to the internet. It's got a firewall in it. It's all secure and everything. So I did that, and then it was running fine for about probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then middle of the day it just stopped working. Couldn't get internet out or anything. I ended up spending probably about 3 hours on the phone with Aussie Broadband, who's my carrier, and because they can see the NTD side and what's connected to it, and they're like, no, it's up and we can see it's connected and all the rest of it, and I just could not get traffic through. Reset it, factory reset it up again, still wouldn't get traffic through.
And it had fried itself.
It had fried itself, and then so luckily I still have the old Wi-Fi system that I had in here. And so I plugged that in, and it wouldn't come up because by now I've tried to connect so many things to it that the carrier has actually blocked the connection. So they had to manually kick the connection and reset it and everything.
Yep.
Got it all connected and got it all back up and running. But the old system that I got rid of it because it's flaky. It's it'll just glitch out. And sort of halfway through the day, it'll just drop the connections, and about 2 minutes later, it'll come back.
You can't have that.
So I went to the extent of, rightio, I've got myself a Proxmox lab now. I've got one host set up, and I've got 2 more on their way. I've got a unified security gateway sitting beside me, and I've got 2 unified AC light WAPs on their way.
And I called you excessive using 3 Proxmox machines, but I had to remind myself that I've got 4 630s running.
Yeah, I was going to say
VMware.
Yeah, I've just got little Lenovo Think Centers is all I'm using.
Yeah. Oh no, they're great. I showed you my little HP things. Yeah, they're great. The little small form factor ones. Yeah,
they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's my. So now I've got Unify's their network appliance running in Proxmox, and I've now got a bind internal DNS authoritative zone for my internal domain, plus the recursor.
Yep.
There. So I just got to get the DHCP set up, and then I'm off to the races.
Off to the races. Yep. Well, I did recommend Arista. That's what I use. It was called Untangle. It's called Arista now. There's a community version of it, but it'll do all that, right? It'll do DNS and DHCP, and it's the VMs or what I register themselves in the DNS and all the rest of it. I got the whole thing. It's all hands off. Like Terraform spins up in Proxmox, copies my image, and I'll give you the code for this, Ian.
Yeah, cool.
And then Ansible just has at it and builds it out in Ansible. The machine's out in Ansible. So
love it.
It's a great setup for your own, open source private cloud.
Yeah, nice. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, just before we get on with the rest of the show, just see, if I was trying to do any Terraform or Ansible this morning, because all my code is on, guess where? GitHub. And there was a big outage this morning in GitHub. Apparently, if you look at the incident status, did a database upgrade and it didn't go to plan.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Looks like it lasted for probably an hour and a bit. Hour and 15 odd.
Hour and 15 odd, yep. Yeah. And started with like the main GitHub landing page just off the air.
Yeah. So the article that we're looking at quotes is you'd load up the GitHub website and it'd show an error. It says no server is currently available to service your request. But then it also spread pretty rapidly to other things like GitHub Pages and Copilot and the GitHub API. So evidently there's some sort of replication there in their database that's progressively gone down the tree. And
as caches timed out and things. Yep. Yeah. Yep. But no, to their credit, they were able to roll it back. I'm assuming they've got a GitOps pipeline and they were able to roll it back, and they were back to square one. So
you would certainly hope so.
You would hope so, indeed. But yeah, we've got an internal Slack channel for GitHub status, and it was going bonkers. Alrighty then, should we get on with the rest of the show?
Definitely.
Let's do it. Let's get on with the news items. And just quickly before we get on with the news items, normally do the community news there, because last week's community news we featured yourself talking at GDG in Sydney. Just give us a quick 1 or 2 minutes on how that went.
Yeah, it was really good. We had, I think it was 60-odd people turn up to GDG Sydney. It was a really, really good night. We had 3 speakers there. I ended up speaking, so I've got a little talk that I did up just for my own learning. Decided I'd build a Slack bot using Gemini. And then I was asked to go and talk at GDG Canberra, and I went, oh, well, here's a perfect topic for it. So I just turned it into a talk. And yeah, the talk is just about how to build a Slack bot using Google's Gemini AI.
Yeah, nice.
And the learnings you will have if you don't do things the right way.
Nice.
I had a few of them. There's a 129-page document of Gemini talking to itself.
Oh, right.
That's about 20 seconds worth of letting it talk to itself, and geez, it gets weird.
Just filled it up with spam.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully people can catch that talk around the traps, over the coming months. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully I've put forward for the same talk in Google GDG Melbourne's DevFest event, which is October, I think, from memory. And it will be a sort of fleshed out version of the talk, so it won't be condensed down to sort of 35, 40 minutes. It'll be more like a bigger talk where we get to actually do some coding and
right.
hack on the code a bit and sort of make it handle other types of questions and responses and stuff.
The live demo kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, sort of see if we can get it to handle images and videos and stuff.
Yeah, very good. Well, look out for that, peeps. It'll be around the place. All right, then. Well, first news item for this week is announcing Spanner Graph. Now, this is a big new feature that's been introduced into Cloud Spanner. And just taking a quote here from the Google Cloud blog, today we are thrilled to announce Spanner Graph, a groundbreaking offering that unites purpose-built graph database capabilities with Spanner. Now, Ian, Spanner was already it broke the walls already, broke the fourth wall already, and now they've added this.
Yeah,
Where does this take it?
This is amazing. So, because Spanner is obviously a globalized database of sorts. That's got some amazing capabilities for it. It supports SQL queries mostly natively. There's some bits and pieces that it doesn't support, but for the most part, it supports it. But now we've got graph query language as well built into it, which just takes it to that next level. With the Spanner Graph, you get native graph experience with ISO graph query language, a unified relational and graph models, so that perfect blend between a relational database and a graph model in there. Built-in search capabilities with vector and full-text search capabilities, which is amazing. I love that idea. And the one that I love the most about this one, AI-powered insights. So deep integration with Vertex AI unlocks powerful suite of AI models directly with Spanner Graph, accelerating AI workflows. Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not a data guy, and I don't play a data guy on a podcast, but graph query language and vector searching, they are related to unstructured data. Is that right?
Oh, as far as I know, I'm not a data guy, so I wouldn't have a
clue. Well, I know vector searching definitely is, right?
Yeah.
So are we seeing a database here that you can basically chuck anything into? You can put structured data, unstructured data. You can just throw anything into it, right? And it'll just gobble it up, and then you can search on it.
Yeah, it looks like
you can index it.
It looks like it's moving that way, yeah.
I mean, this is exactly what you need for AI-powered workloads and training AI, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got some quick examples in the article there on what it can do, which is good. It gives you a place to start and learn how it works, because I'm not a data guy, so if you showed me a graph query, I wouldn't have a clue what I was looking at.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Take a quote from the article here. Spanograph bridges the relational and graph worlds. Spanograph combines the well-established capabilities from SQL. We've all done the odd SQL search in our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the expressiveness of graph patterns matching from GQL. So you can leverage the strengths of both paradigms with a single unified database.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wow, they've just broken the fifth wall, right?
Yep.
The blog article is quite extensive. If you're into it, go and have a look. They talk about a lot of things. I'll link a couple of articles. There's some quotes from an InfoWorld article. This is graph databases are particularly useful for retrieval augmented generation because they excel at modeling and querying complex relationships between data points. This capability enhances the retrieval of relevant information in AI applications. That's perfect, right? Connecting the dots, improving the accuracy and relevance of generated outputs. That's a quote from Stephen Dickens, who's the chief technology advisor at Futurum Group. All right, then, moving on from that, that's the only feature we're going to talk about this week. But moving on, Google is in a little bit of hot water. The US judge has ruled that Google has a monopoly on search in antitrust case. Now, they've been going after Google on this for years, and they finally got him.
Yeah.
Google broke the law with its monopoly over online searches and related ads, and it all comes down to the fact that Google had paid $26.3 billion US in 2021. That's 1 year to ensure that its search and the default on smartphones and browsers.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And look, to be honest, it's not that hard to change the search provider on your phone or on your browser. So
people don't do it. People don't do it.
No. Well, some of us do. Some of us do. Like I use Google.
Depends what you're searching for, Ian. What are you searching for?
No. What I do is I have because I have Firefox and Chrome running. So in Firefox, I change the default search engine to DuckDuckGo because I want to see the difference in responses. Because I know that DuckDuckGo gets its feed from Bing, and obviously Google has their own database. But Google and Microsoft share their data as well.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting because Kent Walker, who's Google's president of global affairs, said that the company intended to appeal the judge's findings, and said this decision recognises that Google offers the best search engine, but concludes that we shouldn't be allowed to make it easily available. And I sort of agree with them to an extent because, yeah, okay, you've paid to make it available to everybody. That's just business. You pay advertisers to advertise for you, so why shouldn't you be able to pay to have your product put in first place on a smartphone?
But it leans into the whole anti-competitive thing, right? I mean, they're using their clout and their might to just steamroll everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, I don't know. I've got my own opinions on that, but you've got to – you don't want to go down a monolithic pattern of, one single mob owns the whole lot, right? That just doesn't – it's just –
no, that's true. You don't. But then I think on the flip side of that is consumers should be aware of how to change the things that they don't like about something. If you don't want to use Google search engine on your phone or on your laptop, then figure out how to change it to something else.
Yeah. The trouble is, though, I think most people don't know what they want until they see it, right? They don't know that they don't like it because they don't know there's an alternative. There's an alternative way of making a different search. It's only the tech savvy, right? It's only, or maybe not even the tech savvy. Actually, there's a quote later on down where the judge says he noted that Microsoft's Bing search engine had 80% of the shares in the search market on Microsoft Edge browser. Now, even a 2-year-old would figure out that they've got 80% of the shares because that's the default search engine.
Yeah, that's right.
In Microsoft Edge. Now, if you're the type that, going back to my first point, if you're the type that just bought a new laptop and you just got Edge and you don't know anything about Chrome or whatever, and that's your whole experience, you start up Edge and you do a Bing search. When you buy your Pixel phone and suddenly you're doing a Google search, right? Then you might go, well, hang on a minute, I actually want to do Bing searches. Then you might kind of be enlightened to that fact.
Yeah, or vice versa. You get a laptop that's got Microsoft Edge on it and you want to do a Google search and then you're going, oh, hang on, this thing only searches in Bing. How do I change it?
You go the other way.
Yeah.
But I guess the point is that the user has to be exposed to that to start with.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not tech savvy, right, or you're just a Joe Blow, and you're in the Google ecosystem, you're on your Chromebook, you're on your Pixel, and that's all you know, then that's all you know.
Yeah, right? That's right.
Microsoft doesn't have a phone anymore, so they can't.
Thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness for that. They can't cage people into Bing that way. So anyone that uses Bing is either going to be using, what's the default search engine on iPhone these days? Google, right?
It's Google, yeah.
Yeah. So they're either using, so if you're using Bing, if you're using a Windows machine, you're going to be going either Bing or Google, right?
Yeah.
Because your phone's going to have Google either way.
Yep.
Shows you how much I know about iPhones.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
squat.
I only know because 2 people in my house have got iPhones.
Oh.
It's unfortunate for them.
Wash my hands next time I go there.
Yeah. Rinse the filth off you.
That's it. But yeah, interesting one. Of course, Google is going to appeal that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, watch this space on how that pans out. They can only appeal it so far though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, moving on. The Google graveyard strikes again. Couple from the Google graveyard. Now, you brought this to my attention. Actually, Ian, you brought this to my attention like last week, even before we knew that you were going to have anything to do with this episode.
Yeah. I literally read
about?
this and I read this and I messaged you on WhatsApp and I was like, hey, dude, this might be a good one to cover on the podcast.
And it certainly is. Google is discontinuing Chromecast line.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad day because the Chromecasts are a fantastic bit of kit. I know we've got one. We've got a couple here actually in the house, but we've got smart TVs for most of the TVs in the house. And yes, we have a lot of TVs in our house. But for the ones that aren't smart TVs, we've got a Chromecast. And then we've also got a brand new one for our caravan, which is hopefully going to be on its way in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to have to order a couple of them, I think, before they completely finish up because they are going to support them for a little while.
Yeah.
I think I read an article, yeah. It's just a matter of getting the hardware. Now, there's a product called Chromecast Audio.
Okay.
I don't think we got it in Australia. I have seen them on eBay in the US, and I could have ordered one and got it in, and it's discontinued as well. And all it is it's like a little puck that with like a headphone jack, and you plug it into your amp or whatever, and then you can just stream Chromecast to it, or it comes up as a Spotify device.
Oh, cool! So it's sort of like the Nest Minis, but the way the Nest Minis work.
Nest Mini has a speaker in it, or not?
Yeah.
No, these don't have a speaker in them. The idea is to plug it into your amp. Right?
Oh, right.
Your own household amp system.
Yeah, cool.
Right? Because I've got here in the new place, I got a bar. You got to have a bar with some speakers and the amp. It's in my rack of everything. And, I was like, well, that'd be ideal because I have my phone and I just stream Spotify or YouTube audio or whatever to it, and bang, I've just got my music there available to me. Or I'm using PlexAmp. I don't know if you use PlexAmp. I've ripped all of my CDs. I've got them in PlexAmp on my Plex server, and it's got a Chromecast feature in it. You can stream it to Chromecast. But obviously with this Chromecast, you've got to have a telly, Right? That's kind of the idea behind it.
Yep.
With a Chromecast audio, it's just all about the audio.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, what I did to solve that is Raspberry Pi with a thing called Spotify D on it, just an open source thing, and it comes up as a Spotify device, so I can stream Spotify to it. But I can't Chromecast to it.
Okay. That's what
I've got to bring that back.
Rebuild my Home Assistant off the Raspberry Pi and onto Proxmox now.
That's it. So this that was a little tangent there, but the Chromecast line's going away, and it's going to be replaced with
Google TV Streamer.
Google TV Streamer launches on September 24,
which is a set-top box. So obviously it's going to be a vastly bigger device than the Chromecast. It says here the set-top box comes with some significant spec bumps over the Chromecast with Google TV, such as a processor that's 22% faster along with Thread and Matter integration.
Thread and Matter integration. Now, I was just thinking to myself just now, I've gone to hotels on numerous occasions and taken my older model Chromecast with me. Mm-hmm. You plug it in and you just stream Netflix straight off the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Perfect, right? It's a little tiny black thing, right? The little older model one. You're not doing that with a set-top box.
Nope. No. I still take my Chromecast with me every time I go away because it's if I get to a hotel that doesn't have some ability for me to stream something, then I'm trying to watch it on my phone and I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, just cast it across.
Yeah.
But then I'm just thinking here in parallel with that, thinking, well, a lot of newer hotels, they got TVs that have got Chromecast built into them. You can cast to the TV anyway. So are we really going to miss out on anything there? Yeah,
well, some of the hotels. So I've been in some, and I've been to Sydney an extraordinary number of times this year. We worked out at GDG the other night that I've been to Sydney 6 times this year, and in some of the times that I've been there, the hotels didn't have a smart TV in the hotel, so you could either watch on your phone or you could not watch at all, or you could watch free to wear.
Right,
and we don't watch that,
which is rubbish most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You want to, Those older model Chromecasts, they were great for that. That exact perfect use case.
Yeah. And that's what I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, just keep doing that. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I've got one. I've got a couple of them here and they work just fine. But we'll see how this set-top box pans out. But it's going to be a weird one because where's the market for set-top boxes? Like, I think they're dead. I really think set-top boxes are a dead thing now.
Well, I thought they died in the early 2000s, to be honest.
Yeah, because you're buying a Samsung TV, it's got all the apps in there, right? Even things like BritBox. It's called. I had to explain to my mother-in-law the other day. It's called BritBox, but you don't get a box, right? You used to get a box. It's an app on your TV, right? So where does this fit in? I mean, Google TV. I haven't looked. Is there an app called Google TV? Probably should be. Right?
I think so because we've got a new Sony TV upstairs, and when it starts up, it actually starts up and says Google TV by Sony.
Oh, there you go. So it is a Google TV, which is mostly YouTube anyway, right?
It's just an Android TV with the Google TV app on it, as far as I can see. So, I don't know, 6 months? Maybe.
12 months maybe before they kill it?
Well, before it ends up in the graveyard with everything else.
And while I was looking up that story, another story popped up in the sidebar on that page, and it was talking about search notes. Now, we covered this story about 6 months ago, and it was a feature where you could add a note to a search result. And this comes in handy, if you've got a website that doesn't have like a comment section or there was no way to sort of give feedback, you could in the search, you could tag it and then that would get added to the metadata of that site. So when other people search, they would know that there'd be notes there. I thought it was a great idea.
I think it's fantastic.
I never made any notes myself. Probably I should have.
I did.
If I had done, then Google probably wouldn't be killing it.
No,
like everything else.
I did make some.
Did?
Yeah. Yeah, because I opted into it. It was one of those things that you had to opt into Search Labs. And, of course, I did because why not?
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I did. There was a few notes that I added more than anything along the lines of if I found a good takeaway spot, I'd add that in as the food here is amazing or something like that.
Yep. And, it'd be good for yourself, right? If you were trying to, put a document together, or you were compiling an appendix of things, and you wanted to make notes on certain web pages, that'd be one way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Putting your own personal notes against websites.
Yep.
But Google's closing it off. It was launched last November, and as an experiment, granted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're closing it because it just wasn't popular enough for the wider audience.
Yep.
All right, then, moving on with some finance news. CXApp. Now, CXApp, they've made a deal with Google. CXApp is it's a bit hard to explain, redefining the work experience with CXAI. So take from their website, where efficiency meets empowerment, CXApp's AI encapsulates your essential tools in one mobile-first super app. So they've got this sort of app that kind of encapsulates, your space and your meeting and your HR and all the stuff all integrated into one, and it's AI powered.
Yep.
And it's hosted on Google, right? And Google has made this big deal with CXApp, and as a result of that, their revenue grew by 112%, and the market loves it.
Yeah, well, the quarter saw a massive increase of 78% in renewal and expansion bookings from the same year on year, which is that's fantastic.
To take a quote from Curian, we continue to make great progress in shaping the future of work with our largest expansion deal this quarter. The largest enterprise client is seeing high adoption of our platform in their pilot deployments at their headquarters in the US and a second major site. We are solving real problems in the work environment for them, and they know they are now planning to scale up with our AI initiatives, AI native solutions across their entire footprint. So, a company here that's really taken AI by the horns, and the market really loves it, and looks like they're getting good results out of it.
Yeah, that's it. It definitely be one to watch.
We will talk a little bit more about AI for early adopters later in the AI wars, but these guys certainly are in that in with those players for sure.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to the CXAI website, and you can go and see what they do. It's a little ambiguous unless you're actually using the tool, but this idea probably going to see more of, I think, because it's a work-life balance tool that kind of integrates, helps you integrate everything seamlessly, right? And all powered by. I'd love it if, I don't know if you've seen these things where AI organizes your calendar.
No.
There's a thing called Motion, right?
Okay.
And all you do is you put your tasks in. You say, I want to read 100 pages of this book. I want to, I've got to go to the gym for an hour a day. I've got these meetings. I've got to get this couple of things done, some Terraform. Can you put all these tasks in, right? And it just goes shuffle, 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 right? And works out the best way that your day is going to be laid out based on all the commitments you've got.
Yeah, right. That's
right?
cool.
Yeah.
I want that.
Pretty cool. Yeah. That's what this can do.
Yeah,
right?
Nice.
Yeah. And it helps you really find that balance because, you got a work day, right? You got an 8-hour work day, and some days, it's wall-to-wall meetings and you're back-to-back chockers. But then there's other times where you've got highs and lows. You've got sort of lulls in the day. And you go, well, I could be doing something more productive with my time right now. Even if it's not work, it could be just going to the gym, which ultimately will be, beneficial for you. Or it could be, just taking a brain break or something, which would be beneficial in the long run. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to shuffle that around? And then you go, oh, well, I've got to, I've got a 7 o'clock meeting. I've got to meet with someone in the US, and then you don't mind doing that, right? Because you've had these other little opportunities during the day to step away from things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I find my day at the moment, it's sort of, I get in at 8:30 and I do a bit of work until about 9, where I start my first meeting, and then I'm essentially in meetings until about 11 o'clock. There's a period in there of about half an hour that I get that isn't meetings, but that's useless. Like that little half hour, by the time you've got your head back into what you were doing, you
can't context switch.
You can't do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then the afternoon is yours, right?
Yeah, and then the afternoon, for the most part, the afternoon is mine, and I try and block out focus time at least 3 times a week in there because otherwise I just don't get anything done. I'm just constantly answering questions or just trying to help resolve some of the config issues that we've got.
Yeah. No, you need to block out that focus time, and because the context switching is not good, right? It takes you another 20 minutes to get back onto the task where you were, and then this literally happened to me this morning. I'm in the middle of putting some Terraform together, and there was like 3 blocks, and I had to go through each of the blocks and change the values, and just keep a track of where I was. And I got interrupted during that process like 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
And of course, that resulted in me, when I came back, I'll just push it. It's like, I'd missed that.
Yep.
And then I went to go back, got interrupted again. Okay, I pushed it again. Now I've missed that. Because that flow was interrupted, and my short-term workspace, I couldn't contain in there what I needed to contain to do that, resulted in me doing these additional pushes, which took 15 minutes, but then wasted further time.
Yeah, that's right. It's
right?
I've done it. So like I'm working on a merge at the moment. So we've got a number of branches in one of our repos that we've, in order to save time, instead of pushing from plan to develop to staging to production to shared, where this only affects shared, so let's just push it straight to shared. And it's not good, because when you try and push something through all of the other branches, you end up with merge conflicts. And that's what I'm trying to resolve at the moment. And I've been working on it on and off today I started it yesterday when I got to the airport, and I worked on it for about 40 minutes there, and then I got on a plane and I started again this morning, and I think I've made probably an hour's progress in it.
Yeah. Because every time you've got to dump that short-term workspace in your brain and then repopulate it again, right?
Yeah.
With what you're doing and then you get interrupted, you got to dump it again and then restart again, right? So, it takes you a good portion of time to get back on task.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that focus time is really important. All right, well, enough of focus time and CXApp. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit of VMware.
Our favourite topic.
Your favourite topic. There's been a 0 day, specifically CE 2024-37085. It's been floating around for a while, but there is a clear exploit on this now. It's been around since June 25. It was a 0 day at the time, but a patch was released. But it's been shown that now we've got threat actors that are using it to crypto lock VMs.
Yeah, and not just the hypervisor, all of the VMs on the hypervisor.
All of the VMs on the hypervisor.
Interestingly, at the bottom of this article, one of the security researchers from Rapid7, who was commenting on it, says, this was a documented feature or default configuration that admins were instructed to keep in mind a workaround, and the risk of this issue posed was publicly documented years ago. Years, plural, years. So it's not a new thing.
People don't read documentation, Ian.
Well, no. I mean, come on.
So specifically what we're talking about is they would create a group once they infiltrate the AD. So the hypervisor needs to be connected to the AD. And once they infiltrate the AD, they will create a group called ESX admins in the domain and add it to a user, which automatically conferred to that user, i.e. the threat actor, full admin access to the ESXi hypervisor.
Yep.
And of course, once you've got full admin access, you can go and do anything you like on any of the VMs, including crypto lock them.
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly the same as if you're on Kubernetes and you've got root access to the node in Kubernetes. You have full access to all the containers.
Yep. And this just bypasses any AD permissions or anything like that. Once you're in this group, this is an ESXi function. ESXi says, yep, you're in this group. Bang, have at it.
Yep. Because that's a group on ESXi, on vSphere.
Right.
That it's checking. It's a local group that they're then emulating by putting into AD, and that's how they're getting around it. So, yeah, it's a bit of a scary one. But so what it gives them, though, yes, you get full super user access to the ESXi hypervisor, but that also gives you full access to all the data of all of the VMs that are running on ESXi. So one of the...
Unless they got encrypted disks.
Well, yes.
Well, while it's running, you can read it, but if you have to shut it down and steal the disk, then it's encrypted.
Yep.
Then you can't. But
yeah, that's right. But so the one thing that it calls out here is that, that they can exfiltrate data off those VMs and then crypto lock the entire hypervisor, VMs and all.
Yeah, right. This is at the hypervisor level, not necessarily the VM level.
Nope.
So if it's on vSAN and you crypto lock the whole vSAN, good night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all done. You're rebuilding from scratch.
Yeah. Sure. Let's hope you have some good automation to help you with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it has been patched. It's been fixed in ESXi 8.0 update 3 and VMware Cloud Foundations 5.2, but it won't be fixed in 7. Okay, understandable. And Cloud Foundations 4.x. But there is a workaround available, which I haven't read that, but I'm assuming it's something like remove the group.
It could be a remove the group, or it could be a rename the group.
Permissions unset.
Yep. Okay,
so
there you go.
Remove the permissions from that group, so one to watch out for, particularly if you're running older versions of ESXi, of which I imagine there are many out there.
There would be a heap of them.
There'd be a heap of them, and they'd be organisations. I'd wager they'd be organisations that would not be prepared to pay for the VMware, the extortion of Broadcom.
Oh yes, the Broadcom tax.
The Broadcom tax. So they're just going to be vulnerable, which is good for me. It's plenty of work for me, right?
Yeah.
I've got all those juicy VMs to move into Google.
Is GCVE moved up to ESX 8 or vSphere 8?
As of March 7, 2024, the VMware Engine operations team will upgrade VMware components to the newest versions beginning mid-March 2024. You'll receive an email with planned updates, and components post-upgrade will be ESXi 7.0 update 3.0.
So undoubtedly they will be removing the ESX admins group or nullifying its permission.
They will have to remove it, yeah. All right then, and just to finish off the news items, we've got a list. Haven't done a list for a while.
Oh, I do like a list.
Yes, lists are good, and this list is an interesting one because it's the 10 biggest Google Cloud stories of 2024. Now, it's going to be interesting to see which ones we covered, and I can tell you there are a couple in here that we did miss.
Yes, we did, actually.
We did, yeah. So let's start from number 10. I thought I'll take the first 5 and you take the next 5.
Righto.
Layoff hits Google, number 10. Layoff hits Google, but nothing big at Google Cloud. This is not unusual, right? So in January, Google laid off 1,000 employees across various business groups from its devices and services team to Google Assistant. Yeah, they do this all the time, right? They got to shuffle staff around. A lot of their staff probably left willingly, and then they probably rehoused some of those staff in new positions, right? They've got to do that to keep up with the tech.
Yeah, I think the issue that we had at the point with that was the how it was done, where people just woke up in the morning and their access didn't work and
couldn't log in.
Yep, couldn't log in. Their card didn't work. You go to swipe it to get in the building and
no, not getting in. Yeah. Number 9, Google Cloud profits hits all-time high. Quarterly sales reached $10 billion. This was a great one. This is the Q2 results from 2024. Generated a record of 10.3 billion. We covered this on the show. I think it was last show or the previous show. Representing an increase of 29% year over year. Google Cloud now is at an annual run rate of 41 billion US.
More billions are better.
More billions are better. Number 8, we talked about this earlier in the show. The antitrust allegations are catching up. This week, Google was found by federal judge to have violated US antitrust laws around its search and general text advertising business. Look, I mean, these antitrust things, it's always, Microsoft's been in hot water over this stuff. It's tall poppy syndrome, right? They've got to go after them.
Yeah.
And, companies like Microsoft and Google and Meta, and they just throw money at it till it goes away.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it. And number 7, Google Cloud offers 10x incentive for partners driving Gen AI. And I think we covered this as well. Generative AI is top of mind for Google Cloud and its partners in 2024, so much so that the company increased its incentives and other channel programs by upwards of 10x for system graders and software vendors to implement Gen AI solutions.
Yeah,
that's how hard they're going after it.
We can talk a bit more about that in the AI Wars, because I know the articles that we've got in there are about some of the benefits of implementing Gen AI.
Absolutely. For new starters, right? Number 6, Google launches startup cloud credit program to push startups to join GCP. I think we covered this one as well. Google recently launched a Google for Startups cloud program that offers 200,000 in cloud credits over 2 years, specifically for AI startups. Yep. The program is offering 350,000 in credits.
Yeah, so
not bad.
So I know that Amazon's been doing like this thing where you register a business and they'll send you a letter to go, oh, here you go, you can have free credits on AWS and free tiers forever and all that sort of stuff straight out of the box. I think it's good to see that Google's actually getting on board and starting to throw a lot of money at startups.
Yeah, why not, hey? Because, that's, there might only be a fraction of a percentage that takes off, but that one that does take off is going to be, it's well worth the investment early on.
And it's locking them in. Yeah.
Take it away, number 5.
Huge investments in AI hardware, TPUs, and data center infrastructure. So in 2024, Google's invested billions around building new data centers and cloud infrastructure across the globe, as well as on AI-specific chips. So there's an article every week. Yeah, we did a story back when I was last on the podcast about Google getting a little bit of trouble with, I think it was Sinclair Computing, about the tensor processing unit design. There you go.
They're putting undersea cables and data centers in everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
Yeah, big spend.
Yeah. We also covered this one. Google eliminates egress fees for departing customers. AWS and Microsoft have followed suit. So, if you decide that you don't love Google as much as they love you anymore, then you can exit, and as long as you give them notice that you're leaving, they'll waive the egress fees for you to leave. Number 3, massive Wiz and HubSpot acquisitions dissolve. So this was all over the news when it happened, sadly. So in April, Google reported looking to spend billions on acquiring HubSpot in a move that significantly boosts its CRM technology and customer base. However, the deal fell apart, and then in July, reports emerged of Google looking to beef up its cloud and AI security offerings by acquiring Wiz for $23 billion. But that also fell in a heap. Incidentally, I don't think that was confirmed by either party, that it was actually a thing.
What, the 23 billion?
No, the actual acquisition. I didn't think that either party actually formally said, hey, we're in negotiations.
No, I don't think so either, but insiders, quotes, insiders kind of knew, right?
There was some people who shall remain nameless.
Yes.
Number 2, Google Workspace renewal margin cut by 40%. And a new
Now, we missed this one. I'm pretty sure we missed this one.
I don't remember hearing this one, and I have listened to every podcast since.
Nice.
New 60% incentive in its place. So, in a blow to many smaller Google Cloud partners, Google cut workspace renewal margins by 40%. Effective April 1, the changes set channel margins for workspace renewals at 12%, down from 20%, which obviously will hurt some partners, but is ultimately good for the end users. For year one, we're giving 60% margin to partners for new workspace business. That's more than Google makes, which is it's an interesting take. And the number one thing on the list is Google completely revamps the AI portfolio, launches more Gemini innovation than ever before.
AI, generative AI,
The quote here from Curian is, Google Cloud is the only major cloud provider offering both first-party and extensible partner-enabled solutions at every layer of the AI stack.
Yeah, that is totally true, isn't it?
It is.
Because they've got the stack there to offer.
That's right. So just as a breakdown of the 10 biggest AI highlights in 2024, Google launched Gemini Ultra, Google Code Assist for Google Cloud, Gemini Code Assist for Google Cloud, Google Cloud's new Vertex AI agent builder, Google Gemini AI was injected into Workspace, and I can tell you now that is completely amazing. I love that. 3 popular Google products received Gemini Boost, which is BigQuery, Looker, and databases. One of which we covered earlier on, the Spanner AI stuff. Google's AI chatbot Bard and AI Power collaborator Duet AI were all wrapped up under Gemini. Google's new Gemini Cloud Assist helps cloud teams design, operate, and optimize their application life cycle. And Google unveils Gemini 1.5 Pro. So there you go.
With 100 million tokens.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. With 1 million tokens.
Yeah, 1 million tokens.
1 million tokens.
1 million tokens.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up the list. And it's no surprise that we ended on that AI stuff there on that list because, they just went bonkers at the last Next.
Oh, they did.
The AI offerings, yeah.
Didn't they? What? Yeah.
They did. And speaking of AI, let's get on with the AI wars. All right, 2 quick items. Well, not really quick, but 2 items on the AI wars this week. Nvidia may have found themselves in some hot water as well. Nvidia download a human lifetime amount of data daily to train its chips. But it may not have all been legal.
No, that's right. So staffers raised legal and ethical concerns. They were told they had umbrella approval, in air quotes, from the highest levels of the company to use the content. One vice president level employee even suggested downloading the whole of Netflix too. Meanwhile, a Google spokesperson referred to the previous statement that called such actions a clear violation of its terms, a sentiment shared by Netflix, surprisingly. But yeah, an 80 years worth of video per day off YouTube, Netflix.
Off YouTube. 80 years, it's astonishing that there's that much even there, right? Now, if they did have umbrella approval, air quotes, why then Nvidia employed IP address hiding tools to circumvent YouTube's anti-scraping firewalls?
Well,
why did they do that?
Maybe they were concerned that they might get caught for doing something that they clearly didn't have approval to do.
Clearly didn't have approval to do.
Just
that's right.
Throwing that idea out there.
So yeah, but the models. This is the thing. Like, Nvidia is the richest company in the world, right? So, it's meh. Money talks, right? Like, someone comes after them, they're just going to keep throwing money, getting the lawyers at it.
That's right.
Meanwhile, they've got their model trained, right, on all of the world's data.
But their share price took a skid for it.
It did.
Yeah, so it says in the article here, the company saw a share price skid of nearly 7% on Monday, helping to fuel nearly 3% downturn of the tech-heavy NASDAQ 100.
Yeah. But then it does say Nvidia's share price is still up over 100% year to date. So it's nothing in the scheme of things. No. It's just a little blip. It'll continue to grow. They're still making the hardware.
That's right.
What do you do? Like, this stuff's still on the internet. YouTube claims that they own it, but they haven't created any of it.
No.
Right.
And so they don't own it. They just provide it.
Yeah, but under YouTube service, once you put it on there, then YouTube are allowed to do anything they like with it, which effectively means that they own it.
Yeah, right. That's a bit rude.
Yeah, it's a bit rude, but it is once again another example of this monolithic kind of culture, right? Like, there are other platforms, but no one uses them, Vimeo and whatever, right? But if we had alternative places where this data could be scraped from, and they were a bit more sort of free with their licensing around it, then I'm sure Nvidia would have used that.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well.
Let's see how that pans out. But yeah, there's likely some litigation in the works now. As a result of this, there was a little bit of a market meltdown, and it seems that the market now is kind of realizing that there's been a bit too much hype with AI, and there could be problems with this. This article goes on to say the market meltdown is in part a course correction to human hallucinations. I love how they've used that word, human hallucinations about AI's near-term prospects. Right, so everyone's getting very excited about it. It's tulips, right?
Yeah.
When's this thing going to burst?
Yeah, that's right.
And it could be something like this that causes it to happen.
I love the human hallucinations. That's amazing. Because, I mean, obviously, if you ever get the chance to have a look at the PDF that I presented at GDG about, and it's not so much Gemini hallucinating, because it didn't. It just went off on tangents. It's quite fitting.
And we'll move on here. The last article for today in the AI Wars is Google Cloud Research shows strong return on investment for early adopters. Now, this dovetails into some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. According to Google, Gen AI can fuel rapid growth, with 84% of early adopters successfully moving Gen AI use cases from pilot to production within 6 months.
Yeah, so this comes out of the ROI of Gen AI global survey. Say that 10 times quickly. Commissioned by Google. It's a survey commissioned by Google that shows that Google is awesome. No conflict of interest there. So it emphasizes that Gen AI is more than just a new technology. It's a key driver of business transformation. And so the survey, which includes 2,500 business leaders from global enterprises with revenues exceeding 10 million, focuses on Gen AI's ability to impact two categories: is direct financial impact and the broader business advantages gained from deploying Gen AI in production.
Well, this is exactly what we talked about earlier with CXApp, right?
Yeah, that's right. It is exactly it. And so the article actually goes into a little bit of depth about, like, majority of business execs are harnessing the power of Gen AI, and by majority, they're like, it's quoted 61%. At least one application in production. Those who are lagging need to make significant progress to catch up. So we're seeing the gap widening, where those who have implemented it and they jumped on board straight away, they're well ahead of their competitors.
Google underscores that to achieve the best results, business leaders must integrate Gen AI into the company's core operations and invest in resources to support the long-term growth. So what we're seeing is, the laggards that aren't bringing in Gen AI, well, you're the losers. You're effectively the losers, right? I mean, you've got to be on this now. You've got to be on the front foot this now. And if you think you're a business, you're just driving forklifts and storing stuff in a warehouse and you're not going to be affected by this, well, you've got another thing coming, right? This is going to affect every single aspect of every business.
Yeah, that's right. There is, as I said, there's still a significant gap in adoption rates, with nearly 2 out of every 5 companies yet to implement the technology in prod. This includes 12% that are still evaluating use cases and 5 that still haven't even started. So, and the lag is most evident in highly regulated industries, so financial services, insurance, etc.
But they're the industries that can benefit the most.
That's right.
Ironically.
And
right.
Incidentally, insurance, there are some insurers in this country that are looking at Gen AI and are implementing Gen AI and have done in prod. I know of one who has an AI tool that takes, if you have an accident, you use their app, you upload photos of the accident and the claim and all that sort of stuff via the mobile app, and that goes through a decision maker. And that decision maker is based on AI. So it compares those images to known fraudulent images to see if they're the same. And it it has a look at your previous claims history and where you claim that the accident was versus there's a whole heap of stuff that it does in the background to determine whether your claim is actually legitimate.
Wow. Yeah, perfect use case once again. I think we talked about that on the show a few weeks ago. The detection of images, fraudulent images or AI-generated images or images that have been harvested off the internet to put in a fraudulent claim. Yeah. Or reuse of images, perfect use case for AI. And in finance as well, right? Detecting fraudulent transactions.
Yeah, well, that's right. So, banks have been doing this manually or in-house for years. They've been trying to build their own AI, we'll call it, to detect fraudulent transactions. I know Suncorp tried this years and years and years ago, like more than 10 years ago. I'm sure it worked to a degree, but now that they've got data sharing in amongst the banks and the ability to use Gen AI itself, I think it'll go a lot better.
Absolutely. Well, plenty more startups to come out of this. There's money on offer for startups, and if you're into Gen AI, Google's giving you money, as we saw, and if you've got a good idea, it's got a high chance of success.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing out of all of this. Well, I think that's about it for the show, Ian. It's been fantastic to meet up with you again.
Yeah, same, mate. I have really enjoyed being on the show again.
Always a blast. Don't forget, you can go to iTunes and write a review for the show. That'll really help the show out. You can find us on YouTube now. Once you go to YouTube and start the conversation and smash that like button while you're there, you can contact the show, gcplife@mantlegroup.com.au, and you can just Google for the website. You'll find a list of episodes there. And don't forget, today's sponsor is Mantle Group. At Mantle Group, we make your Google Cloud solutions possible. That's about it from me. It's going to be sad to see you go again, Ian. I thought we said goodbye and we're going to say goodbye again.
Yeah, well,
anything else from you, mate?
Before long, mate, we'll be on the road again on the dirt.
Yeah. Well, we've got a trip in mind, and we'll certainly, I'll certainly be discussing it and letting you know what's going on. And we may even see you around again. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, mate. It's been good. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye. Oh, mate. So I built Proxmox this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I've just got one node at the moment. I've ordered another 2 machines to build.
This is for your home lab?
This is for my home lab. And
you're going to have a clustered Proxmox for your home lab?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah.